So, greetings to all, and we appreciate your attendance today. So, let's kickstart this session with the great quotation which I have heard that a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. So, yeah, good evening to all the guests and dignitaries. In the capacity as your host for the worldwide webinar on leadership skills, I, Shikha, would like to take an opportunity to extend a hearty greetings to each and every one of you. It gives me a great pleasure to extend a warm hello to each and every one of you gathered here today. It is a huge honor to us have someone of this caliber who's involved on this topic of leadership skills add so much value to it. So, leadership skills are essential for guiding individuals, teams, organizations which towards uh, achieving their goals. Effective leaders possess a combination of traits including visions, integrity, empathy, and the ability to communicate and inspire. So, before I proceed further, let me take a brief moment of introduction of my organization. SEMS Welfare Foundation, a registered non-profit organization, is dedicated to social impact across various sectors. We focus on education, particularly skill development and entrepreneurship. Through our initiative DigiSaksham, we have created training programs in IT, retail, finance, and entrepreneurship impacting over 6,000 individuals. We are currently upskilling inmates in Haryana jail and collaborating with universities and colleges. We have also partnered with the banks to place over 1,500 candidates in jobs. Femlets, another SEMS initiative, empowers women through workshops and stories of successful female entrepreneurs. We conduct programs of digital literacy, marketing, and career development, reaching over 1,000 women across multiple states. This initiative recently reaches a milestone of 100 actively involved women. In a just short time, SEMS has established itself as a force of positive change, equipping individuals with skills and employment and promoting women's leadership in various industries. So now let me take this session to publicly present and welcome Mr. Balbir Singh, the keynote speaker of today's international webinar. Lieutenant General Balbir Singh Sandhu has commissioned in Indian Army in December 1978 and superannuated in 2017. After almost 4 decades of outstanding military service, he embodies a rare combination of international sportsman and an outstanding military professional. As a professional, he has head of his parent service of DGST, which is Director General of Supplies and Transports. Also held the appointment of Director General of Information Technology. During his service and served as a instructor at the NDA and the prestigious DSSC Wellington, which gave him a flair for speaking and writing. So there are many gems and diamonds in the world, and one of them is here today to help us build this event. With this note, I, Shikha, on behalf of SIMS Welfare Foundation, I would like to give my heartiest welcome to Mr. Balbir Singh sir with a huge round of applause for joining us today. Your presence has added to significance of this event, and we are genuinely honored to have you here, sir.
Thank you, Shikha. Shikha is your name?
Yes.
Okay. So I assume most participants are youth and students.
Yes.
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 So at the outset, let me thank SEMS for inviting me, and it's always a great privilege and a wonderful experience to interact with the youth, and which also means that we are able to pass on the baton to the next generation, and they don't do mistakes that we did, and they probably do more good than what we did because I am absolutely confident and enamored and impressed by the present generation because they're much wiser, much smarter, and have much more exposure and know the use of technology, which is a word which I think needs to be spoken the most. Any amount is less. So it's a great honor. So what I am going to do today is share my experiences at the end of 4 decades as an officer in the Army. God is very kind to me that I was acknowledged as a successful professional, which many others would have also been. Probably since I had the experience of going through these stages and working at each level, one does have a lot to share. And like I said earlier, these experiences sharing is the best way, or it is a kind of case study, or it's also a kind of learning from our positives and negatives, so that the next generation doesn't have to go through the same things. Talking about leadership, there are many definitions of leadership. You can write volumes on leadership. You can speak for hours, and at a stretch of for days on end on leadership, it will be less. But one definition I remember from my days as a young officer, as a cadet actually in NDA, is leadership is the art or the process of obtaining willing obedience of members of a group to accomplish the assigned mission or task or job. So the key thing in leadership, I would say, is accomplishment of them. And next important thing that comes in the way is out of those 10, 12, 50, 100, 200, there's a leader, and there are junior and other leaders at various. So accomplishment of the mission, the art of leadership, and ability of the leaders to operate is what makes us right. I am very sure even if we have to have the mission of organizing a picnic, it's a task. So accomplishment of that job in a fantastic or in a absolutely celebratory manner is a must. Now, next question which is often asked is: are leaders born or made? You may be a person who right from the childhood or right from even before being born are exposed to an environment where leadership counted a lot, and or because of your DNA or whatever you might call, there are some people who have this qualities right from the beginning. So there is no one who's going to say leaders are not born, but it doesn't make them the greatest leaders. And there are as many others who have that hunger to learn and who have that fire in the belly to perform that the leaders get. So it would be not wrong to say leaders may be born to some extent, but for sure leaders are made, or the people make themselves. So that answers the thing. Another thing which I remembered very I liked it when I read leadership as a young officer was the theory of group, leader, and situation. Invariably, so you make a triangle, and at the apex of the triangle, you put the leader, and the one side bottom you have the group, and the other side you have the situation. So the other day, while addressing some students at IIM, I asked them which out of the three would you rate as the pivotal. So there was substantial number who felt situation is important. Okay, but my way of thinking, and that is how it is should be. It's the leader who is pivotal. A good leader or a charismatic leader in a terrible situation will turn the tables and get that group out of the terrible situation and yet accomplish the mission. That's leadership. So, out of the three, leader will always be the most pivotal person out of the three. Now, I wish I could ask somebody. You all must have heard on the TV screen the celebration of 25 years of Kargil Vijay Divas. It's a momentous occasion. I was that time a colonel. I was posted in the Northeast, and we had to mobilize for certain contingencies. But it was the exemplary leadership of those young officers, 20-year, 22-year, 23-year-old, who got us back the Kargil as it was encroached upon by the enemy. Now, we often ask, and you would have seen on the television, those hills, Tiger Hill and the 0.4950 and others, they're barren. Nothing grows there. It has no real estate value, right? Yet, these officers led their men and they never looked back. The men followed. And this was when they all knew that there are only 40%, not even 50% chances of coming back alive. You might not. Yet they relentlessly, without any hesitation, followed there. And the other day, again, is very interesting thing which often shows ignorance of the people. So one very high-ranking person told about leadership in the military, and she said, military has an autocratic style of work where you say do this and it happens, and then you say do this. You have a very disciplined force, and then they do things that those things might not apply in the civil. I said I agree to the extent that there is discipline in the military, but there is nothing known as autocracy because the officers in the military have to earn that respect. They command respect and they don't demand respect. And to give you a little idea of how it happens, this bonding, which makes the men follow their leader in a place like Kargil and other, where you can barely breathe even to walk, and they ran up those hills with guns and artillery and everything placed on those dominating positions. In fact, this probably must be the only example in the history where the troops and the officers could get back those peaks in such a diversity of nature, both in climate and terrain. Because of the altitude and also the climb that it involves. So it is basically that officer who leads them. If he is a cadet in NDA, he goes through the rigors of high pressure training at National Defense Academy, which more than physically making him fit, which is a given, it mentally toughens him at the age of 17, 18, 19. He becomes, and when he's commissioned, you are told here you become an officer, and officers never get ticked off. I remember these. So all of a sudden, at the age of 21 or something, you become a very matured person. You start leading men. And when you reach a unit, say an infantry battalion, nobody allows you to go to the officers. You have to now earn your respect amongst those men. So an officer goes and lives in the barracks with the men. He sleeps on the similar charpai. He uses the same public toilet, which is a group toilet. He goes and eats the same food which the men eat, because South Indian troops will have different food tastes, North Indian, Rajasthani will have different food tastes. Nobody cares. In Indian Army, the religion of the officer is that of the troop. A Sikh officer, I remember I had the threads around my wrist because I knew it makes a lot of sense to attach myself to my men who like to go to the mandir. And likewise, a Sikh or a Hindu, if his troops have Muslim troops, he goes to the mosque. And very often we have an organization called Mandir Masjid Gurdwara building, where all three religions prayer is done at this. At the same location, not simultaneously, right? So that relationship. So this officer is expected to do all the exams with the men do, from a sepoy to a one striper, lance naik, and then to a naik, then to a havildar, in that period of a few months. And that is what connects him to these men. And then during his annual leave, he is expected to go to the rural areas of his troop. He goes to their villages. He understands their traditions. He understands their sensitivity. And needless for me to say, 100 odd men that are there, he knows everybody by name. He knows their family details, married, unmarried, children, mother sick, father not there or there, everything he is supposed. And when you do all this, this is when these men kind of give him the right to lead. So it is not just the orders. It is not as it looks. It must look, follow me. That doesn't mean follow me happens just because you say follow, just because you are saying in a commanding voice, just because you are saying in a military like man. There is a great foundation. A lot of buildings look very nice, but invariably the good ones and the lasting ones or the successful ones are with a great foundation. So this is what makes these men lead. Yes, some would say it is patriotism. That's a given. Every citizen of this country is patriotic, but not every citizen of this country places victory above his own life. So here it is a bond amongst the officers, the men or the jawans. Probably one day there will be women jawans and the women officers are already there. So that bonding, that relationship. How can I let my leader down? How can I let my colleague down? Right? During Kargil, I am given to understand there was an incident where an officer and a havaldar, young officer, 22-year-old, they were stuck behind a stone and there was fire and there was somebody from amongst them who got very severely injured and he has to be pulled back. because in the army you don't leave your colleague bleeding. In the bargain, you might end up giving your own life. So this Havaldar said, I will go. And this officer said, you have children, you have a family. I am single. Don't worry, you stay put. I will. And this officer went and never came back. Now, Indian Army is the only army where the casualty ratio of officers to men is very high. Suppose there is one officer leading 100 men. When it is the martyrs, you will find one officer among 10 martyrs. And from 1 is to 100, it is 1 is to 10. So that is what differentiates Indian Army from the rest of the armies in the world. So this is called bonding. This is called officer man relationship or officer Jawan relationship. And this is what makes them attack those features. It's built with a very, very strong foundation, and there is a culture of accountability. It is not that everybody asks the other chap, why have you? It's a self accountability. It is my commitment to my unit that I will do this. And now certain other things which I felt as a crux of what we did and which I liked through my service as a part of learning. One was the first principle of war is selection and maintenance of aim. Most of us do not know what is our aim. Yes, a lot of us know what do we want to be in life. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an army officer. So if I'm in school, if I'm in college, what do I want to do in life? I want to become a great entrepreneur. What does it involve? It involves first do my academics very well, then go and learn these skills, then do my management, then do my this, or first do my studies very well, then join NDA or IMA, then do my training very well, do a good job of it, and then do my courses. So how far can I plan? This is a method of appreciation in the art, and this is not it's not the only way to do it. How far can I plan now? I can plan only to do my studies very, and that is why a lot of us aspire to become, great national leaders, great doctors, great engineers, and we end up not doing too well even in class 12. So I would say first is to get your aim correct, and second is maintenance of aim. During war, a lot of people they have the aim of capturing this feature, but on the way there's some distraction, they lose sight, or they find some obstacles or some problem, and they get stuck and they get bogged down. So they at times lose sight of their. A good leader will select his aim well and then maintain it. I want to shed 10 kgs weight, so I start off good dieting, exercise in the morning, there's that. And after a few days, okay, today's only occasion, so I start eating something. And then I slowly lose about 5 kgs, and then I'm satisfied. I say, what can I do? You find reasons to justify failure, right? So this is absence of selection of or maintenance of aim, right? So remember that it is important to have your aim correct, but you must maintain your aim throughout the process of accomplishment. And when you are young, what is most important? In the army, there are two things which count when you are assessing an officer. One is personal qualities, which include like dependability, integrity, tolerance for ambiguity, and all that. And second is performance parameter. How did you do your assigned task? How do you train your command? Your knowledge of your own job and your knowledge of the others' jobs and stuff like that. Right. So when you are young, this is my reading, that while the personal qualities like dependability and all are growing and will continue to grow as a part of your persona, but it is extremely, extremely important that your professionalism comes prime. So if when I'm a young officer, I know I have to run with the men, I must be physically fit. I can give you hundreds of examples of my career where I used to practice alone to be sure that if I come in front of my juniors and my men and my cadets in ND, I can say, okay, let's do this, and I can do it better than, right? It is, you can't ask your subordinates to do things which you can't. Yes, as you grow up in service, you become a colonel or a brigadier, you are not expected to run and win against a 21-year-old. But yes, when I was a 21-year-old, there should be no Jawan running better than me of my age, right? Maybe an exception, sometime who's an athlete of some great national level. But I am mentally much tougher. And I assure you, I followed it, and I personally felt that was extremely satisfying. You don't have to then command or tell people to respect you. They just respect because you are leading from the front, because you are setting an example, because they start respecting you. Okay, this guy can do my better than, right? So that is the second thing that I want to bring out. Third is, especially, I at the age of 67 find the need to learn a lot, and even interacting with you guys today, I think I'll be ending up learning much more than what I probably would teach you. But there has to be a moment a person thinks, even if he's the best sprinter in the world, even if you are a Neeraj Chopra winning the Olympics medal, the moment you think that you have reached the pinnacle and you need to learn no more, that is the start of your downfall. And why I said Neeraj Chopra, he's an army person, and I really admire him. Normally, person with he's I think not extremely person with high educational qualification thing. So I think I personally don't know. But the fact he is a junior commissioned officer, but he could keep his head on his shoulders, keep his balance to continue to aspire to improve. After his initial success, he only built on it to get more success. So that there can't be a better example than that to tell you that learning is an ongoing process. I mean, till whatever time, right? So that's the next thing that I feel. And when you are young, you need to build capabilities. There's a disturbance somewhere. So you need to build capability. By just saying that I want to be great when you're young might not be the sole solution. What you need at that stage is build every skill, every capability. If you don't know PowerPoint presentation, learn it. If you don't know Excel, learn it. If you don't know how to handle computers, if you don't know how to make a presentation, learn it. And I can only give you an example. When I was a young officer, we didn't have these TVs and all. I was in a field area. We have very small books called general staff pamphlets. They're very heavy reading, and they are the ultimate authorities on learning how to fight war, defensive operations, offensive. So I used to keep one next to my bed, and this friend of mine came to visit me. He said, "What's this?" I said, "Yeah, I have this hunger to learn this one, and I keep it here because it's such a heavy dose at night. Just before sleeping, I read it. It doesn't take more than 10 minutes to sleep. Two, at least I'll know the color of these pamphlets. And three, I said if there is a thing called induction, I'm keeping it next to my head. It might. But basically, I felt at that age that I need to put all this into my hard disk, which I did. And as I reached a certain level, I surrendered, handing them all over to my unit. I said, hereafter, I don't need to refer this. I have it in my head. Or if I do need to, I can always have the authority to request someone to get. The question is, I experienced that hunger to learn as a young officer stood me in very, very good stead and got me a lot of stuff. Then another example that I was talking to you about of physical fitness and other things. Whatever you expect from your subordinates, whether in a corporate world or in any other place, you must have the ability to. So I was commanding a unit in Delhi. I was a major. We used to have a lot of commitment due to which we could not run your PT early morning. And we have an annual test where it's not an annual item inspection where they declare a unit fit or unfit for. And I was also captaining our AC polo, so I come at 5 in the morning, see my unit drills, then go and ride, then go and see my horses, then come back to my office, go and play in the evening, again come to the office, leave at about 8 in the night. And I had this ambition that my men should do very well in that annual BPET run. And they had certain other practices earlier. So I told them once, I said, okay, guys, we will run once. And I want to honestly know how many of you can pass. And you'll be surprised and shocked to know that just about handful pass. I said, don't worry, hereafter it's my responsibility to make sure that you pass. So we used to practice on Saturday. I used to tell them, should we practice on Sunday? Yes, sir. And on Sunday, I will always organize a great breakfast after that, spending a little more money from my funds, which I had the power to use. So as a result, to make that as a picnic kind of a stuff. And in the end, on the day of the final test, so the person who came, another major who came to check us on behalf of the boss, he happens to be my junior from NDA. He says, sir, why are you running? You are the officer commanding. I said, no, I want to run because I can run and it's my way of connecting with my people. And lo and behold, after a while, the boss came himself, who normally don't come, and he moved around in his car with us. I was fit in those days. I was 33, 34 year old, but I was in peak of my fitness. So I ran and And I was very I used to consider myself very privileged, and I'm very proud of being an officer commanding, because not every major gets a independent. And I used to feel very blessed and very thankful to God for that. So you if you are humbled by the positions you hold. So I used to do all these things whichever I had learned about leadership. So I came first in my whole unit, right? And that officer, the general officer, he said, where the OC himself at this age comes first, I don't need to inspect that unit. And he went back. And I became his favorite thereafter. So I could take a lot of liberties. And whatever I asked him for my unit, he gave it. The question is, you have to continue to build your capabilities. And I always remember, I quote a very famous, share of Iqbal. He says, "खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से ये पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है." Build so much of capability. Become so capable that your seniors, your colleagues, your juniors want you to be part of their team. That is how I translate this share in the military part. So leadership is all given in our old folklore. It is given all in our old religious and other teachings. Like though it might be too much for young people to know, but there's a very famous shabd by Guru Gobind. He says, "इन्हीं की कृपा से सजे हम हैं, वरना मोसो गरीब करोड़ पड़े." कि whatever I am, सजे हम हैं, like a soldier. Because Guru Gobind Singh Ji was a saint. And that is also there in Hindi mythology, that I'm very religious. But if it comes in Mahabharata that I have to pick up my weapon, I will do that. So though I'm not very well versed with the religious teaching, but this one I really like, and I always felt that you are so grateful to your soldiers and subordinates that you owe your position, and this I started believing in from those days of major, and I always say that nobody make. If I am heading an organization, I am not the person who is doing all the work. It is others who are doing the work. I am only guiding, and they're doing it as a very big favor to me, frankly speaking, because I'm the head. And if there's a reward coming that way, that will me. So that humility and that sense of realization will make sure that everyone gives his every ounce of energy, including the blood, to make sure that your organization where you are heading always gets close. So that's another thing. And as you grow, you need to, like I said, setting an example. You have to have self. You cannot advocate punctuality and be late. That will not be. And likewise, many things. I remember when I was a major, I got a very fancy dress from a British officer who took one of my para jacket and all. So I wore it once, for the firing and all. But then I realized, oh, I am now an important appointment holder. How can I wear a dress which is not prescribed in the Indian Army? How can I wear these shoes when I'm supposed to wear those ankles? So as a result, through my 40 years, that dress kept lying in the box and I had to hand it over. It just came to me when we are very young. We are second level. We like fancy. We like style. We like this. But as you grow, and if you are an evolving leader, you will never sacrifice your discipline because you'll be setting a bad example. So you have to have self discipline, and you have to have that urge to do things right. And I used to be very pleased with myself that I had no urge or no longing or no feeling stylish to wear that, because I felt I feel much better in this dress. And I also made sure that I will have so many dresses, that new dresses, and it doesn't cost you too much, because I owe it to my rank that when I float walk around, and I used to go to my room whenever I went home, I will go and salute in the mirror, so that my salute, which so many people are saluting you, they must see that this guy does it exactly by the book and not like this, or not like half finger open. So these are very small things, but they give a very big message of leadership to a very large community. And second is, if you see Narayan Murthy, if you see Abdul Kalam, as you go up, you must be humble. You must remember sorting out juniors as you grow up. A lot of saying, I will sort you out, is not a great thing. It is difficult to help the junior, which you must, right? So as you grow up, even if it is at the lowest level, you must be humble, and you must be thankful to God. And like I said, must be thankful to your team and the subordinate. And besides humility, another thing that I saw is that a lot of people come up with difficult problems. Sir, how can we do this? Sir, this is not possible. Sir, this rule doesn't permit. Sir, this. So I used to always say, I said, please come to me, state the problem within 30 seconds, and give me alternative solution. Give me options for solution. What I will do is, I'll give you a decision immediately whether it's right or. So never get cowed down by problems. They are just obstacles. The horses and men cross obstacles, right? So you must take those as challenges and not difficulties. You should never find them as a wall. All problems, if taken as challenges, can be solved. Like Field Marshal Manekshaw said once, he says, who says there is no fear? Everybody is scared during war. He said, fear is there. But if there is somebody who says, I'm not fearful during war, because either he is telling a lie or he is a Gurkha because he was from the Gurkha regiment. So that doesn't light up. The fact is that difficulties are there. You feel frustrated, but long run, successful guys will be those who still find solutions, who still attempt solutions, who never give up. So if you are a professional, professionalism will help you tide over obstacles and difficulties. During Corona, a lot of people probably felt helpless and gave up. A lot of businesses packed up. A lot of institutions never, regained things. But there were some who quickly changed their field and got into different tasks, maybe less. So if you have that ingenuity, if you have that faith in yourself, if you don't have hesitation, and if you are willing to imbibe change, like they say, the only thing which is constant is change. And if you are ready to have that flexibility, have that innovation, have that resilience, you will be able to tide over difficulties. And another thing which I really admire, I think those of you who are interested may like to have a look at my TEDx talk, which is Soldiering, Sports and Leadership. Because when I look back at my 40 years in the armed force, I felt these two things were fundamental to making me grow. They were fundamental to my growth, my character, my success. Right. So it is not that you need to be a national sports person. Olympics are now ongoing. It is the sporting spirit which every person, man or woman, who has it will understand how to handle a setback. I can give you an example. We won a tournament in Delhi. I was doing a course. We were specially taken to Bombay for another tournament of the same handicap, and we are so overconfident that we said we should save our horses for the final tournament, the polo tournament, and this match we'll win as it is, no problem. So we will take it easy, and we had the game totally under our control. We went to their goal 12 times and we could score only once. They came to our goal twice and they scored twice. We didn't know which way to look, but we were packed out of the tournament. And this was with much lesser competition than, because Delhi has much more competition. There are 10, 12 teams there were only 4. So handling a setback, the Indian cricket team, they lost the World Cup, that one day wala, they could have just, I mean, they were devastated, and that was in front of the Prime Minister in Ahmedabad. But they bounced back and went on to win this one in a foreign. So that is resilience, and this is what sports. It also teaches you hard work. If you see Virat Kohli and Pat. If you see this Harmanpreet yesterday in hockey, they are all made of, and they would be putting in hours and hours of it, foregoing all their comfort. That is what, and obviously strategy of the game, strategy, mental strength, resilience, discipline, and like I always say, play life. If you lead life like a game where you play by the rules of the game and make sure that you play in a fair manner. And you work hard enough to achieve whatever you aspired, and play life like a game where, irrespective of your rank, file, whatever, where you consider a goal as a goal and a foul as a foul, that fair play will teach you to be a great leader, besides many other things. I think with that, I will call it a end of this talk, and as we interact, it'll be a pleasure to answer any questions.
Yeah, sir.
Shiva, are the questions in the chat box? No.
No, but I would like to ask some
Okay,
questions on
okay,
behalf
okay,
of
okay,
them.
okay, okay.
So, first of all, on behalf of the organization, I would like to express my hearty vote of thanks to our excellent speaker, Mr. Balbir Singh. Today, we got the opportunity to listen to an interesting and thought-provoking discussion on leadership skills. The amount of expertise and passion displayed by you really enhanced our grasp of the topic. So the first question is, how can leaders effectively manage conflicts within their team?
How can the leaders?
Effectively manage conflict conflicts with their team.
So, conflict
Yes, sir.
is part of any functioning in an organization. But the intensity of conflict, if it is a workable conflict, it's easier to manage. So, I would say, as a leader, conflict prevention is as important as conflict management. And let me also say very clearly, if you are respected by all leaders, I didn't speak about it. One thing as you grow as a leader, very, very, very important is fair. You cannot in life have favor. You cannot take sides with your subordinate. Then only your solutions in a conflict situation will be acceptable to both the people involved in them. They probably will say, sir, whatever you say is acceptable to me. And the other person would say the same. But if they don't trust you, so again, it falls on the leader. And let me also say, organization which is run in a very fair, efficient, dynamic manner will have less. So there is no copybook solution to conflict management, but leader has a big role in conflict prevention. And does
Okay,
that
sir.
answer?
Thank you, sir, for responding this question. So there is a question in comment box by Kevin Khurana. So Kevin, are you there?
Yes, good evening, sir. It was a great session. In your opinion, sir, I just want to ask, as you have put a light upon the greatest saying that leaders are born, not made. Like, in your opinion, sir, what traits are inherent in born leaders, and which traits can be developed?
Which areas you mean to say we can develop?
Yes, sir. As you has already said that there is a fact that leaders are born, but there is a greater effect that leaders can also be developed. They can also be
Actually,
made.
should I tell you one thing?
Yes, sir.
Leadership is all about being just another good guy, right? Just
Yes, sir.
another ordinary good guy. We all know through our learnings as a child, from the school, from the relatives, as we read and study, what are good things from the religious textures. So, every part of being a good person, every part of all that we discuss today is something which a person can develop, right? You must do introspection. You must do self-analysis. You must look at good leaders and see what does he do. Not everything that he does you have to do. You have to see what suits you, right? हम में से सबको पता है अच्छा क्या, but you have to be yourself, yes, and improve yourself towards those goals of alertness, bearing, discipline, setting an example, being empathetic, fair play, setting an example. इन सभी चीजों में if you continue to work on it, and leadership is also not a mathematical outcome, it's an ongoing process. So that is what I will call, and nobody can take it for granted that I have been a born leader and I have some skills and nobody else can be better. So I hope that, Kevin, that answers.
Yes, sir. It was it was great connecting with you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, sir, there are a few more questions in comment box. Rimpa has asked that how can leaders make better decisions under pressure?
Under
Under pressure.
under pressure.
Yes.
Again, like I said, professional competence and contingency planning will help you arrive at better decisions under pressure. I'll tell you what they say: no war, no battle, no plans in battle. Stand the first contact moment the first shot moment the first shot is fired, there's an enemy reaction. What you had planned to go from this side, that side gets blocked, then you have to go from the other side. But we call this as a contingency plan. If you are a leader, you have to be always thinking कि ये बारिश होगी तो क्या हो, तो यहाँ से ऐसे आ सकते हैं. Today there are such fabulous scientific depictions which can exactly tell you what will be the impact if this happens and that happens. Scientific innovation. I'm not a great one at technology, but yes, but if you wait for disaster to happen and then pressure will build on you, you certainly are unlikely to take a very wise decision. Contingency planning, professional competence, telling yourself that you have to keep a cool head, also telling yourself that you are the one who has to call the shot, will give you a lot of ability to take right decisions under pressure. And to say that don't be nervous under pressure, I think is unfair. To handle nervousness towards workable solution and victory is something that one can. So it's about capabilities. It is about planning. It is about forethought that can help you tide over a lot of.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering the question. There's one more question that Shraddha has asked, what are the most difficult challenges you have faced while being a unbiased leader?
Well, being a leader,
Unbiased leader.
say again.
What are the most difficult challenges you have faced while being a unbiased leader? So,
I when I was a gentleman cadet at Indian Military Academy, there seeing somebody's behavior who was senior to us, I learned one thing, that whenever I have any small position of power, I will be fair. So being unbiased was inherent for me because that was my foundation to grow on. I found no such difficulty. There have been a lot of difficult situations as such, but good thing is if your organization is well oiled and when cohesive, then there is nothing like facing problem as an unbiased. Being unbiased is a given, and taking difficult decision is a part of day-to-day function. And if you are a person who commands respect, your decision will be accepted and they become more difficult. Yeah. I think you are muted, Shikha.
so, Kancham, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I want to ask about the strategic leaders. What is the role of leaders in strategic decision making to make the organization successful?
Uh, Nobody goes into strategic positions from top. We all grow to reach these strategic positions. It's a very interesting question. A lot of us do not train ourselves to transition to next higher point. And once you are in a strategic positions, one is you must understand the goals of your organization at that level. Two is now you are a person who is going to fit in individuals and subunits into performing in a manner that you make them achieve look like the goals of the achievement of the goals of the company or any corporation. And next is you should not expect others to work like you, otherwise they'll occupy your position. You have to see where can I fit whom to get those desired goals, and you have to think big and you have to have large heart and not get into nitty-gritties, but at the same time there is somebody who has to be there in the nitty-gritty for which they should be trained. Is that okay, Ghanshyam?
I'm asking about the top leaders whose role is to make this strategic decisions and what they should do to make their organization successful. That's my
I
question.
said, I said exactly. Firstly, nobody reaches the top unless he has worked at the middle level.
Okay.
Right? Having imbibed all that, once you reach the top, I'm
Okay, sir.
talking from the leadership point of view, you need to think big. You need to put individual subunits work in a manner that it achieves your strategic objective, and you need to break them down and not get into micromanagement of the other. And also to deliver those strategic goals, your subordinates must be trained to deliver to the level that you achieve your strategy. And again, leadership position at top are extremely isolated, so you have to be in touch with your other components to be able to achieve your strategic. Ghanshyam, does it make sense or
Okay,
not yet?
okay, okay, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
So, I guess there is no more questions in chat book. So, yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for answering all the questions, and we really appreciate your excellent guidance, sir.